Hello again, our most valued student. My name is Confident and welcome to AgroLearnTech's 24-minute lesson. Our lesson today is a continuation on factors, and we will look at the remainder and the factor theorem. We will also go on to look at completing a square and the steps that you must follow when you are completing a square. Let us look at the first part of remainder and factor theorem. When we're looking at the remainder theorem or the factor theorem, let's start by looking at the common examples that we are used. When we say 12 divided by 4, so when we use the long division and we say 12 divided by 4, we get a 3. And we are saying 4 is a factor of 12 and there is no remainder. Let us move on to the next one. When you say 112, get this, 112 divided by 2. How do we go about this one? We say 2 into 1, it can't. And then we say 2 into 11, we write a 5 on top. Then we say 5 times 2, we multiply it this way. 5 times 2, we get a 10. If we subtract 1 minus 1, it's a 0. 1 minus 0, we get a 1. And then if I bring these 2 down here, I'll have 12. Again, I'm saying 2 into 12, I'll get a 6. 6 times 2, I will get a 12. Now, 12 minus 12, everything is 0. So here, the remainder is 0. You can see that when 112 is divided by 2, we get 56 and the remainder is 0. However, when 112 is divided by, let's say, 111, that was a mistake. 111 is divided by 2. Using the same example, 2, 1, 1, 1. Now, again, 2 into 11, it's 5. 5 times 2. It's 10, you subtract, you get a 1, and you bring this 1. And now 2 into 10, it's 5. 5 times 2, it's a 10, you subtract. 1 minus 1, 0. 1 minus 0, it's a 1. Then this 1 is a remainder. So we are saying when 2 is divided into 111, it's 55, remainder 1, which means 2 is not a factor. Now, using the same concept, let us look now when we use variables. When x squared minus 5x plus 4 is divided by x minus 1, prove that x minus 1 is a factor or not. So again, I'm going to do quickly the long division and then I'll show you the quicker version of doing this. So when you're doing the long division, this is what you do. You put your x minus 1 here, and then you've got x squared minus 5x plus 4. Now, what you do, you say x squared x, this number x into x squared. So how many times does x get into x squared? You get x. Then after that, you multiply here. Here you are dividing. So here, x times x, what are you going to get? You will get x squared, and x times minus 1. You are multiplying again. You are going to get minus x. When you have done that, what you do is you subtract. X squared minus x squared, it's a 0. Minus 5, let me write it down. It's like we are saying minus 5x minus 5x minus, just to be careful here, there is a bracket there. Minus 5x minus and then minus x. You are going to get minus 5x plus x. You are going to get minus, which is equal to negative 4x. Hence here you will get minus 4x. After that, like previously, you bring down the 4 with its sign. Again, you go on and say x, remember you are dividing, you are saying x divided by minus 4x divided by x, you are going to get minus 4. Minus 4, you are multiplying again like previously. Minus 4 times x, you are going to get minus 4x. And minus 4 times minus 1 is minus 4. After that, you subtract like what you did previously. Minus 4x minus 4x minus 4x. You will get minus 4x plus 4x, which is 0. So here you'll get a 0. Again, the other one is, you are going to have, it was minus 4 times minus 1, it was a positive 1. It was a positive 1, not a negative 1. So you will get 4 minus 4, which is equal to also a 0. Hence, what you see, when x minus 1 is divided, when x squared minus 5x plus 4 is divided by x minus 1, there is no remainder. So what are you going to write it? This is how you write it. You are going to have x minus 1, and then write the top again, x minus 4. And there is no remainder, which means x minus 1 is a factor. However, there is a shorter method if you want to prove that x minus 1 is a factor. How do you do it? You say, let f of x be equal to x squared minus 5x plus 4. Now, to prove that x minus 1 is a factor, if we say f, so what you do here, you are going to say, before I go to f of x, what I need to do is, I'll say x minus 1, you must equate it to 0. Take that x minus 1 and equate it to 0, and it jumps the sign. In other ways, you solve for x, let it jump the sign. You're going to have x is equal to 1. You're going to have x is equal to 1. When you've got x is equal to 1, now the concept says for x minus 1 to be a factor, f of x must be equal to 0. Hence, what you're going to do is, you're going to say, now this is the condition that needs to be satisfied. When you say f of x is equal to 0, it means there will not be any remainder. So, because it's a factor theorem. So what you're going to have is, you're going to have f of, remember we said x is 1, f of 1 is equal to, now let me again not rush it. Remember you had f of x. What was our f of x? F of x was equal to x squared minus 5x plus 4. Now we are going to have then f of 1 is equal to, you are going to have 1 squared. Where did I get the 1? Because we said x is 1. Minus 1 plus 4. If you use a calculator, you will discover that you are going to get a 0. So when you get a 0, it satisfies this condition which says f of x must be equal to 0. And then, therefore, x minus 1 is a factor. That's how you prove it. Again, we can try this one. Use the factor theorem to prove that 2x plus 1 is a factor of f of x is that. Factorize fully. So remember, the first thing you need to do is to say 2x plus 1, you equate it to 0. Then when you solve it, you will have 2x is equal to minus 1. You divide by 2 on both sides. You are going to have x is equal to minus half. Now you are given that f of x is equal to 6x cubed minus 5x squared minus 12x minus 4. So you are going to have now instead of x now you are going to have f of minus half is equal to 6 minus half cubed minus 5 minus half squared minus 12 minus half minus 4. And using a calculator, you'll get f minus half is equal to, after using my calculator, I got a 0. Therefore, when you finalize it, then you're going to say, therefore, this is how you write it. You say, therefore, 2x plus 1 is a factor. Alright, now, then the question says, factorize fully. Now, when they say factorize fully, what you need to do is to do the long division method that we did. But now, I'm going to show you a shorter version that you can use when they say factorize fully. Now, how do you factorize fully? Remember f of x. Now, we've got 6x cubed. Now, you got f of x is equal to 6x cubed minus 5x squared minus 12x minus 4 from the previous version question that were given. And we were told that 2x, or we discovered after our calculation, remember, we proved that 2x plus 1 is a factor. 2x plus 1 is the first factor. Now, what you need to do is to come up with two things. Remember, in this one, x is equal to minus a half. So what you need to do is to do the long division version, but as I said, this is the short version of the long division method. Now, you focus on the coefficients of x squared, x, and x cubed, x squared, x, and the negative 4. So I'm going to write those numbers with their signs. What will I have? I will have 6. There is a negative sign, minus 5, minus 12, minus 4. And then when I've done that, what I need to do then is to have here the x was equal to half. I'm going to have minus a half there. So the first thing that you need to do is to take this 6 and take it up. We are going to have a 6 there. If there was a 1, you'll put a 1. Whatever number you get, you put it on top. So this is what you do with this method. You say, take the 6 on top, the 6 times, it multiplies there. So it's 6 times minus a half. You've got the half there. And then after that, you say minus 5. Remember this minus 5. Then you say minus 5. If you do with a calculator, you are going to get minus 8. The next thing again, you do the same thing. You say minus 8 times minus half. So you are going to say minus 8 times minus half. Now it's minus 12. You are going to get minus 8. So you write minus 8 again. Again, you are going to say, take this minus 8, multiply with minus half. You are going to say minus 8 times minus half minus 4. You are going to get a 0. So here is plus 0. Remember, it's a factor. So when you simplify it, you are going to have now 6. Remember, you had x cubed now. You drop 1x. You are going to have now 2x plus 1 was the first part that you had. Now you are going to have the 6 that you got on top. It will be now 6x squared. You got 8 minus 8x. You drop a 1x minus 8. So that's how you simplify it. And then when you do this, you can see that 2 is common inside those brackets. You are going to have 2x plus 1. 2 into 6 there is 3x squared minus 4x minus 4. Using the product sum method, you are going to have 2x plus 1, and you are going to use the product sum method, and then this is what you're going to come up with. Then you'd have factorized fully. You'll have 3x. Let me undo that. You'll have 3x plus 2 and x minus 2. Remember, on this one I used the product sum method that we did in the previous lesson. You can refer to it, and then because of time you'll be able to see how I simplified that. Now the next one says solve for x if f of x is equal to 0. So when you're given this kind of a problem, what you quickly need to do is you need to find the first factor of this. So you're going to try plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, and plus or minus 3. Usually the factor is within the numbers. What am I saying? Remember, they gave you f of x is equal to x cubed plus 8x squared plus 17x plus 10. Now to find the first factor, that is the number that will divide into this without leaving a remainder, you have to do what we call a trial and error. So you have to start maybe with a positive 1. So what you do, you say f of 1. So you're going to have x cubed plus 8x squared plus 17. Sorry, I'm not supposed actually to be writing these now because I've already gotten the value of x. So now what am I supposed to do? Instead of x cubed, I say 1 cubed plus 8 1 squared plus 17 1 plus 10, and then I see what I get. I try f minus 1. Remember, it was plus or minus 1 is equal to minus 1 cubed plus 8 minus 1 squared plus 17 minus 1 plus 10. Then I find the answer. When you use your calculator, the first one gave me a 36, and the second one of f minus 1, it gave me a 0. As I said, usually it will be the positive one. If it's not, try the negative one. So it's plus or minus 1, start from there, plus or minus 2, you try positive 2 or negative 2. When you get the 0, it means you have found the one which is a factor. This one shows that it gave us a remainder. We will look at that soon. It gave us a remainder, hence it is not a factor. The one that is giving you a 0 is a sign that is a factor. So what is that? It is minus 1. In other words, x is equal to minus 1. So you do that long division that we did again. If you remember, we said minus 1, and you take the coefficients of x. Now in here there is a 1, the other one is a positive 8. These ones are not a problem because all are positive, 17 and a 10. So when I put them here, I will have 1 plus 8 plus 17 plus 10. When I do that long division again, it will be, so that I don't, let me do this. If I do that, remember I said x was equal to minus 1. If I do that long division again, remember you take this one, you take it on top. Last time it was a 6, but now it's a 1. I put the 1 on top, and then after that I multiply it this way. So what is it? If I can divide my line here, as a reminder again, it's 1 times minus 1, 1 times minus 1 plus 8. What I'm going to get there is 7. So I'm going to say plus 7. We do the same thing. 7 times minus 1 plus 17. You're going to get a 10. So it's plus 10. And 10 times minus 1 plus 10, you get a 0. So I'll get plus 0. So when I've done that, what am I having? I'm going to have, now it was x is equal to minus 1. When you take 1 back, it will be a positive. So you'll have x plus 1. And then here, the 1, this one is now 1x squared. You drop the cubed. 1x squared plus, there is a 7 there, which is 7x, plus there is a 10 there, which is 10. I'm not going to finish it up. Now you need to continue And okay, let me finish it up because they say it's solve for x. So now this is equal to 0. Let's move to the next stage. Now since I've got it like this, it was when we factorized, we got it's 1x squared and x squared is the same, x plus 1, x squared plus 7x plus 10. You go on and factorize it further to say x plus 1. Now you are factorizing that part and you are using the product and sum method. Remember, I've got the experience of using it much quicker. If I use the product and sum method, I'm using the two numbers which when I multiply, I get a 10, and when I add, I get a 7. Which are the two numbers? It will be 5 and 2, so it's x plus 5 and x plus 2. If I multiply 5 times 2, I get a 10. If I add 5 plus 2, I get a 7. Now when I solve it now, it's either x plus 1 is equal to 0. Therefore, when you continue, x will jump the sign to become x is equal to minus 1. That's the first part. Or x plus 5 equal to 0. Then again, when 5 jumps there, it's x is equal to minus 5. Or x plus 2 equal to 0. Again, when 2 jumps the sign, therefore x is equal to negative 2. This is what they mean when they say solve for x. So the values of x are x is equal to minus 1, x is equal to minus 5, and x is equal to minus 2. You need to verify these so that you'll be able to check whether your answers are correct. So one way of verifying your answer again, you take any of them. In this case, I took x is equal to minus 5. I put it in the original of f of x. If you put minus 5 there, where there is x, you put minus 5. If you get a 0, it means your factors are correct. You can go on and also check with x is equal to minus 2. We already did check with the first one. They need to be meaning your answers are correct. Let us move on and look at this question. It says, find the remainder if 2x cubed plus 8x squared plus 6x minus 5 is divided by 2x minus 1. If they are saying find the remainder, it is the same method that we use. You are going to have f of x is equal to 2x cubed plus 8x squared plus 6x minus 5. Now they told you it's divided by 2x minus 1. Remember, you just need to equate that to 0. Therefore, 2x is equal to, when this jump the sign, it becomes a positive 1. You divide by 2 on both sides. So you're going to have x is equal to a half. Then you're going to take that f of half and put it into the f of x. You're going to have half cubed plus 8 half squared plus 6 half minus 5. Now when you simplify that, this is what you'll get. After simplifying it, I got 1 over 4, or if you put it as a decimal, you press SD in your calculator, you get 0.25. Then it means the remainder is 0.25, because they asked you to find what? Find the remainder. So the remainder is 0.25. Now let us look at the next one. They are saying, given that f of x is equal to 16x cubed plus px squared plus 12 plus 3, if f of x is divided by 2x minus 1, the remainder is minus 7, calculate the value of p. How to approach this one? Again, the method does not change, but now you're calculating the value of p. So it's f of x is equal to 16x cubed minus px squared plus 12x plus 3. So now, remember, 2x minus 1 is equal to 0. Therefore, 2x is equal to 1. Divide by 2 both sides. X is equal to a half. When you've done that, you have got f of half. So when you substitute now for half that you got there, you are going to have this. And remember, this f of half, they told us that the remainder was minus 7. You equate it to 7 and then you solve for p. We're going to continue with this problem in the next lesson. For now, we have come to the end of our lesson. Remember to go back again to the previous lesson. Go through it slowly so that you'll understand the next session. Thank you.